Poor man pikin dey the street dey hawk. Still dem talk say make we no talk, but thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Ṣé ń lọ ní Mayegun dá wa sí? Àṣírí ọ̀tẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o. Ó bá ṣe àní Mayegun máa wí.
Good morning to you.
Ó sì tún ṣe wà.
Good afternoon to you.
Mayegun dáyàrí.
And then a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me again. Please read the caption of the broadcast and read beyond the caption of the broadcast. The description as well. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Tell everyone that should know that Mayegun today.
Facebook.
Yeah, we are back again tonight. Probably the recovery week, you call it. There's so much to discuss as well. Koolu left China, Beijing, yesterday. According to his handlers, he is expected to have been in London today. Not sure about that though. I had few, usual blue that he left for the alleged Nigerians in Beijing. I am taking tougher decisions for a better Nigeria. Really? Thank you. So today, and good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun Live. Kindly let me know if the audio is still pretty much perfect, because it'll be sad if I just continue talking and then the audio is not popping out. However, it is just going to be the continuation from where we stopped yesterday. I told you I've got a lot of gist there initially yesterday, just to cover those days that we've been away. However, there are also latest too. So thank you so much as you read this and share it. Thank you. So we are starting with the Koolu's statement in Beijing. However, this morning, the breaking news was that Akuri Negalailai tendered his resignation. But they didn't put it that way. They said Akuri Negalailai, one of the lying mouth for Tifnumbu. He was one of the lying mouth for Bokuwari for these murderous, for his own murderous years as as a government in Nigeria. So Akuri Nigalailai continued the same job for Tifnumbu, and it's lasted 15 months. And I believe it ended today. There are many conspiracies around that and all of, like putting together all things that happened in the last 15 months that possibly showed Akuri the, the door. But he didn't leave, like resign that way. They said he's stepping aside. What the heck is that? Anyway, he tendered this resignation today, and Bajabi Amule received it, approved it, because Akuri Nigalaila said he's having a family problem. Somebody even said, Baba, you know how much this guy spend in trying to clean off the causes that people actually cause them. I'm like, well, that doesn't really work. But there are people who believe that these guys knows what they are dealing with and what they are doing to Nigerians. However, they kind of have people who reminds them that they have causes here or there, or affliction here and there, and to prevent them from suffering all of that, they need to get to pray for them and all that, right? So Akuri Nigalaila said he has a family problem. His family have health problems that he would need a lot of time to be away. So he called it indefinite leave of absence. But nobody gets indefinite leave of absence, just resign. But that's not where we are going to start there from this evening. Okay, so we're going to start from Tifnumbu, Wale Idun, and few others who went to Beijing, capping with their bows, among other African countries that China hosted in their country. China called all these African countries to China, and then they call it African Chinese or African China or China Africa summits, where they will discuss developments, they will discuss how to develop Africa, sort of. So Koolu, who was one of the guests, so to say, also had few things to say to the supposed Nigerians living in China. Promise you this, right? Majority of those who usually attended to these clowns outside Nigeria, they are not people who reside in those countries mostly. They are usually the embassy staff and the contingent of travelers that they always bring from Nigeria. So if they come to the UK and say we are meeting the UK, Nigerians in the UK, that's not true. Okay, so they have 3 ways of doing it. The first one, those who follow the Tifnumbu from Nigeria, they themselves are like about 80 of them, right? Then those who are working at the embassy, Nigerian embassy in that country, so you're likely going to get like another maybe 20 or 30 of them. Then they are going to call on their supposed Abrodian Buharidins, Abrodian Buhari diots like that. But this time around, it's going to be Abrodian, what do you call it, the Jaga bandits, so to say. So Koolu, after that video you watched yesterday, where he was, speaking from his prepared speech, right? Hang on. I think we should roll it back a bit, just a bit. When Koolu left Nigeria, right, or before he left Nigeria, Akuri Nigalaila made an announcement and said, Tifnumbu is going to China to go and attract investors. He's going to China to, and just other, sweet talk, sweet nonsense like that. But it wasn't the reason why Koolu went to China. He went there because they were summoned by the Chinese premier, as usual. They call them almost every year, okay, to discuss the progress of China and the Chinese businesses, Chinese exploiters in Africa, and how much progress they've made. In order to make it look like what they go to America, what they go to other European countries to do, because it's similar. European Union can call them, say African European Summit, and all of them come to Europe. Or they will say African American Summit. They will all go to America. While they are there, they are just there to show to the supposed interested Americans or interested Europeans, interested Chinese, what they can take from their country or what, and then in return for maybe railroad, bridges, and other stuff, right? So that's what they went to China to do. But Akuri Nigalailai told people that Tinubu was going to China to go and attract investors. That's not true. But again, he was there, read all the papers they gave them to read. And after the whole back and forth and the rest, right, they went on to go and organize a town hall meeting for Tinubu, where he was supposed to be meeting the Nigerians in Beijing. But they are not really Nigerians in Beijing, right? But I am interested in what he told them, because this time he wasn't reading it, he was saying it. Promise you, right? That's why we have to start from there, so that it won't be like, why are you torturing us? So you can quickly put it behind you, right? So Tinubu in China met with supposed Nigerians in China. Then he told them this. Let's start with this.
It has been a very good trip, successful partnership, pushing for Nigeria in progress. And we have governors here. I don't know whether you've introduced yourself before I came in, but honorable ministers, they've given you some insight into what we're trying to do. What is uppermost in my mind is for you to represent Nigeria. Nigeria for development. Nigeria for good citizenship. Here you are one of us, and we have to encourage you to be good ambassadors, all of you. That is very key to me. We celebrate our diversity. We cherish it. But in this diversity, part of one line in the national anthem is our commitment to serve. If it is about service, we should be good citizens. That's as simple as that it is. I can't tell you more except from the embassy that Chinese is a very disciplined society. And we have to be disciplined too. Without discipline and commitment, we cannot be a nation that is expected to be. Exploit our diversity and be ready to do everything within the law of the community that we live in, and reflect a good image of our country. Yes, you talk about investment opportunity and small-scale businesses. That is what is equally driving China's economy. And we have Bank of Trade and Industry back home. Try to get, some of your members to get connected with the bank. And we're ready to help all small-scale businesses to grow. To me, the country is going through a very strong phase of reform. And this reform is taking a very bold and hard decision. For example, you might be hearing from home now in the last few days about fuel prices. But can we help it? Can we develop? You use their good roads, say, You see electricity being constant. You see water supply being constant and running. And you see their good schools. And we say we want to hand over a banner without staying to our children. What is the critical path to get us there? If we cannot take hard, painful decisions to pave the way for that country that is so blessed, so talented, so many of you talents here speaking Chinese and all, their language. It is what you equally contribute and tell them at home that we reflect in the attitude of our parents. The more we want everything free, the more it becomes expensive to develop. That's it. It's difficult. So good roads here. I want to emulate and reflect it back home. I want our children to be in good schools, not in tattered huts and dilapidated classrooms.
Nuisance, Lele.
I hope a lot of you are already so used to whenever I play Tifnumbu, I am not asking you, or I do not expect you, right, to begin to put all of your expectation of, oh yeah, he wants to say something. Let me go and listen. I want to hear what he has to say. Don't punish yourself. Okay? He is incoherent, right? And then he's basically unintelligent as well. But you see, he's the president of the contraption called Nigeria. But let us kind of dissect a few things he said there. And I know if you have to try to put them together, they won't make any sense. But I'll try and possibly make a sense out of it, not for him, just for you to understand the nonsense is spewing there. Okay, so let's start with this. He's talking about diversity. Our diversity, you have to be a good ambassador in China. Look at their roads. I know some of you have been hearing from back home the price of petrol going up. Yeah. So we want you to know that in China, they have constant electricity, constant water supply, very good road. So we cannot develop if we want everything free. I beg, raise up your hand here if you are receiving anything free from Nigeria. As a person who resides in Nigeria, what is it that you're actually getting for free? Anything? Eh? I know it doesn't make any sense, okay? But just to make you understand the senselessness in what it's saying, right? So we can put it in parts that way. China has good, they have good road, constant electricity. And did they get that from the hyperinflation inflicted on you by the wrong policies that the likes of Tifnumbu and his gang have been pushing? Did they build this beautiful road by increasing the tax submit, sorry, increasing the price of petroleum so that they can say, you see, there's people complaining at home and they want us to develop. They want us to develop. We have to pay the price. I want you to tell them at home and say, see, oh, there are good roads here to achieve them, right? So people have to pay sacrifices. But how does a country that is supposed to be one of the top 10 oil producers in the world with no single refinery of theirs working, how does paying so much subsidy and then paying so much on a liter of petroleum, right? How does that contribute to getting constant electricity, constant water supply? How? Is the excess you are paying on the liter of petroleum, is it being paid to government as tax? No. How about the subsidy? The one they have been paying but lying to you that it's been removed. Who are they paying that to? Is that also being paid to government? Like, is that adding more money to the government? The answer is no. But when you try to pick the brain or the brains of these brainless crooks, so to say, because it's a two-way thing, right? There is difference between people who have access to public fund, right, on in-that access, and they can loot it as at will. Okay, those who can loot your public fund at will, as well as those, right, who actually have the brain to say, oh, listen, we do not have enough resources to do what we want to do. How do we create enough resources to be able to achieve what we want to, like, for example, infrastructural development, like bringing people that will come together and say, okay, what can we do? How can we kind of like bridge the gap of infrastructural development, especially electricity in Nigeria? That's not the brain these guys have. The brains they have is the brain to, since they have access to the public fund, they have access to this, everybody's common patrimony. They could just use this with a stroke of pen. They could write it all off to themselves and into their banks. And they could walk about with confidence that the looted fund from the public is sitting so cool in their private bank accounts, and nobody is going to touch them, right? So how do you kind of like juxtapose that with use paying through your noses because of his policies that add no single thing developmentally to you? Anyway, it's Koolu. Let's hear the other part before we move on.
You make teaching interesting and make business flourish. one economic action leads to another. It is in your hand to build our nation. Now is to provide the leadership that is necessary, and I'm committed to that. It's not all about politics. If you are afraid of taking the hard decision when it is time to do it, you probably will not be able to build a national consensus any day, anytime. So take action when it is necessary. We will do that. I promise you